Today we're going to be making bubble-and-squeak cakes with smoked salmon and creme fraiche. Bubble-and-squeak is the classic thing to do with leftovers because it's so adaptable. You can basically make it with almost anything that you've got to hand. But today we're going to do roast potatoes, which apparently some people have left over from Christmas. We never do. Leftover Brussels sprouts, which we often have. Really, any leftover veg will work really well here, so it's quite versatile. We're going to top it with smoked salmon, but you could also use ham if you've got that instead. A little bit of creme fraiche. Season it with some spring onions and then chop some chives on top. First thing that we need to do is to roughly chop the ingredients that are actually going to go into the cake. So I'm going to start off by really roughly chopping roast potatoes, just to make my life easier when I come to mash them. But don't worry too much about them all being even sizes or anything like that. Once they're all chopped, pop them into a bowl and then just give them a really rough mash. You get all those lovely sort of crispy bits in there as well. If you have anything like parsnips or sweet potato or anything like that, add them at this point and mash them along with the potatoes. Now we're going to add the other vegetables, in this case the Brussels sprouts. Give them a nice rough chop. What's really nice about using something like sprouts here as well is that everyone knows sprouts are very good for you. Chop the spring onions and then fry them in a little bit of butter just to sort of take the edge off those flavours. Obviously you only really need a small frying pan because not many spring onions there, but I want to save on the washing up, so I'm going to cook them in the same pan. So you just want to sort of very briefly fry them in the butter. You don't want them to colour or anything like that, just soften them, so take the sort of harshness of the onion flavour away. Take the butter with it as well, there's no sense in wasting that. Give it a mix all together just so everything's well combined. At this point, season it because I really think that bubble-and-squeak lives or dies by its seasoning. Flour your hand to make the cakes stick together and help give them a lovely crisp crust. Here I'm looking to make 4 smallish cakes. Just give them a good squidge. They're going to be quite rustic looking, but then who wants posh bubble-and-squeak anyway? If they're not sticking together, then just melt a little bit of butter and pop that in there. Don't worry too much as long as you've got cakes rather than crumble. Now we're going to fry the cake. You can use any oil you want. I'm going to use a neutral vegetable oil just because I cook my potatoes in goose fat. Olive oil probably would be a little bit of a clash of flavours. So when the pan's nice and hot, add the cakes. Just get a nice sizzling sound as they hit. You're going to leave them probably 3 to 4 minutes just so they develop a nice golden crust, but do keep an eye on them because they can burn easily. And be very careful when you're turning them, just because they can fall apart. Now they're ready, they're lovely and golden, they look absolutely perfect, so I'm going to plate them up. Got a lovely crispy bit of potato there. Just put him in the centre. Now we're going to grab the toppings. Quite often you'll just have scraps of smoked salmon, don't worry about that, just pop that on there. Add some creme fraiche. You can put sort of more dainty little piece on top and then put some chives just snipped to provide a bit of greenery. So there we have it, bubble-and-squeak cakes with smoked salmon and chive creme fraiche, which is the perfect way to use up your leftovers this Christmas.